back with Mike, the Director of Border Narcotics Intelligence. We have been discussing a number of subjects that are critical to national security. Mike, I asked before we went to the break if you could please share with us how Border Narcotics Intelligence came about.
Well, I moved to Arizona 3 years ago and noticed all the problems with the drugs here. Having worked in the drug enforcement field previously, the more I talked to people, the more I got a little unsettled by it. A lot of research, and I called my buddy Dave, who I used to work with, and told him the problem, and asked him what he thought about forming some kind of an intelligence organization here. And at that time, he was going to call me back in a couple hours. And I didn't hear from him for a few hours, so I called him back, and I said, hey, you're supposed to call me back. He says, yeah, I'm on my way to Arizona. He says, we're going to do this thing. And I said, well, how can you just pull up? He says, hey, I'm single. My office is my computer for my work. He said, let's do this. He says, I'll be there tomorrow.
Wow.
So we went down to a Starbucks, and we sat there, and we discussed the legalities of it, and decided to find an attorney, which we did. And while we're talking, this other gentleman was listening to our conversation. He was from England. And he came over and was fascinated by our conversation. He had just been in the country a few days, came to Tucson to live, and we find out that he's actually a U.S. citizen who was taken to England as a child by his parents and was raised there. And his uncle actually was one of the higher-ups in U.S. Bank. He passed away and left him an inheritance. And he decided he wanted to come back home to America because of the oppression by the English government, mainly with guns. And he asked us in the conversation if we do have a gun show. And just so happens there was one going on in Tucson, so we took him over there. And he's a very nice gentleman, and then come to find out he's a forensics archaeologist.
Wow.
So he came in handy with BNI. And then the word got out to people we've known and stuff that we know are here, and it just sort of built from there. There's even military personnel, namely Marines, that help us out with things, and that's how it built. And then we just started to build a huge, vast internet network because a lot of information can be gleaned from there. And then we started forming field teams to actually go out and observe this for ourselves.
Okay,
and
Mike,
we were actually astounded by it.
Yeah, I'll bet you were. Let me ask this. What kind of background do your agents need to have to be a part of Border Narcotics Intelligence?
Well, we prefer a law enforcement background or intelligence, but that's not always necessary either. Well, we have people who hunt, who have hunted for years. We have people that track. And now, even when new people come in now, we teach them things. And just working surveillance with binoculars or a spotting scope and a camera, that comes in. That's 80% of what we do. You know, because we keep track. We keep track of records and load destinations, and we usually know the loads are coming long before anybody else does because we have optics that can reach out a few miles actually. So that's what we do. And now we've gotten into this kind of politically, which has become a necessity just due to this administration's inability to do anything. It's scary.
It really is scary. What is the mission of Border Narcotics? Specifically, do you guys have a designated mission that you stick within the parameters of?
Well, we do now. We don't have liability insurance, so drug interdiction no longer takes place. But we do gather intelligence. We have cameras. We have a huge camera network on the borders and trails in the mountains of Arizona, southern Arizona. Those are collected daily. The data is pulled off onto computers on the spot, and the camera is replaced. We started with 100. We're now down to 53 because they either shoot them up or they stomp them. We haven't had any stolen, but they have been. We've had several destroyed. And you can only hide them so well in short mesquite in the desert. So we do the best we can with camouflaging them. You lose a few.
Do you have insurance on them?
No, we're not quite that rich to carry a policy. We're self-funded. Everybody pulls money out of their pocket for whatever, for their operation. Our water bills were getting expensive in the summer. We were looking at $200 just for water on a weekend. And then you got to lay food in on top of that, the cost of batteries. Rick Henry, our good friend Rick Henry, who passed away a couple months back, he donated some money to us, and we purchased rechargeable batteries and chargers, and that has helped tremendously with expense.
Well, let me ask this. Is there a way that people can donate to Border Narcotics Intelligence to help with,
not
the
really,
gathering
because
of intelligence?
We're not a 501c3. That's been held up, applied for almost a year ago now. We've heard nothing back. We don't know why. You don't get answers. So we've just dismissed it. We're going to pay taxes on whatever money we take in. There's times we do sell things. We're going to be selling hats here pretty soon. And we sold our pins, and we're still cleaning up some orders with that. We had a little bit of problem with keeping records, email address, when 6 and 7 people had access to it. They would put a file, something in a file that didn't belong, and stuff. But we since have a system now strictly for selling hats and T-shirts and things, and we're going to begin doing that here in just a couple of weeks.
Oh, good.
That's how we raise extra money. But
okay,
for the most part, it comes out of our pocket.
Okay, as soon as you start that, let me know, and I will spread the word through my show.
Sure, we would appreciate it.
Because I really do believe in what you're doing, and it's a wonderful thing, because you provide all that intelligence, you gather it, and then you give it to the law enforcement, correct?
We give it to whoever's area that it goes to, yes. And we're a firm supporter of our sheriffs here in Arizona, very firm supporter, because when they get information, they act on it now. Where some of the guys in the federal government are bound in red tape, that by the time they are able to act on it, it's old. It's old information. It's obsolete in a day or two.
So you guys keep it fresh, huh?
You have to keep it fresh. You have to keep on it constantly. If you for 2 days, you're back to learning all over. Smugglers may have changed routes at that period, and you have to get out and then you have to determine the tracks and figure out which way they're going. Okay, they quit using this trail. Why? And then you research and find out if Border Patrol was hitting that trail heavy, if helicopter traffic was heavy, that will cause them to divert their trails. And they switch them up often. And it's a cat and mouse game. You really have to stay on top of it to know where they're going. The vast majority of the drugs that come through Arizona go through the Tohono O'odham Indian Reservation. And there are people there who actually are paid by the cartels to hide their drugs. And then they're then dispersed from there. They go off the reservation in Pinal County into Sheriff Babu's territory, and that's when his deputies get the headache, because they try to get it to Interstate 8 by vehicle and then off to Phoenix or dispersed around the country at that point. And Sheriff Babu's deputies have been on the ball with this. I got to commend him. Since he's been sheriff of Pinal County, they're thick, without question.
Imagine. Now, Mike, tell people what you guys' website is and how they can find you on Facebook, so that if they do want to support you, they can reach you.
We're at Facebook. We're at Border Narcotics Intelligence. We have several pages. We have Fast and Furious Investigation page, Government Corruption page that we just started a week ago. We're following Homeland Security and the DOJ on that. Like I said, we have several personal profiles on Facebook. People can find us there. Several of our pages are full, but they'll be directed if they send a friend request. We will direct them to the page that's open. We have a like page. Our website is bordernarcotics.com. And I also would like people to go to the rememberbrianterry.com website to get their tickets for the event coming on November 12th. All the proceeds from that are going to Josephine Terry, Brian's mom, so that she can afford to attend the oversight hearings in Washington, D.C. This woman she's not had closure. She has not had time to grieve for her son, who was murdered here in Arizona by Fast and Furious weapons. And Lana Domino, Christy Miller, and myself are trying to put on an event so that this woman has the funds to travel to Washington for these oversight hearings.
So that's rememberbrianterry.com?
rememberbrianterry.com. Yep, they can donate, buy a ticket to the event, or a T-shirt. They have T-shirts now.
Okay, and, wonderful. And bordernarcotics.com.
Yes,
that's the two websites that
Yep.
we want you to remember. Okay.
Right.
Mike, with Border Narcotics Intelligence, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us on Turning the Tide, and we will have you back within a month or so to get an update on everything that's going on.
I'll be ready for you.
Thanks, Mike. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, Candace. Bye.